Hey folks, what's up? This is Adam here, aka Cena Guy. Right, back to reviewing movies, and here on the Movie Vault, I'm going to review a movie here which I grew up loving. Okay, I'm not doing your typical horror movies. Someone sent me a polite request to request a movie that was not a horror movie. Hopefully, I'll do requests further on in the future, but I'm doing a movie review now on a film which I loved watching in my childhood. I grew up loving this film. I've watched it countless times, and I think this movie is a masterpiece. And I'm talking about Karate Kid. Okay, 80s classic. In fact, the official release date of this movie was soon tell you June 22nd of 1984. Had a budget of $8 million, and at the box office made 100 million in the United States and Canada. Uh, 2 hours long, this movie. And to tell you the truth, a lot of people would say that's too long for a movie like this. They wish I would have cut out certain scenes in this movie, because it's been a 2 hour long movie. But from what I recall, there was no scenes in this movie which I would like to have seen cut out. I mean, it had a mixture of everything, the bullying process while Daniel LaRusso was being bullied by the Cobra Kai's, the training where Mr. Miyagi's training Daniel LaRusso. You get other scenes like learning about the character's backgrounds. There's a scene where Mr. Miyagi is drunk and Daniel LaRusso learns more about Mr. Miyagi, knowing that his wife and newborn son died. And you see scenes of Daniel in different sequences as well, where he's practicing his blocking maneuvers on a boat while Mr. Miyagi's fishing. We see like him trying to impress the girl, Ali, who's played by Elizabeth Shue, because he goes to the family dinner, gets embarrassed by running to the waiter, getting covered in food, and there's scenes where he's spending time with Ali, in the arcades and things like that. And a lot of people said that was unnecessary scenes, but I personally didn't have a problem, because we're learning more about the characters, because a lot of films do that, but don't focus more on the characters. We'd like to learn more about their backgrounds, and this movie did just that. So I thought every scene counted in this movie, and I had fun. There was not a time when I was bored. There was not a time where I forwarded the film or paused the film for any type of need. So this film pretty much had everything, and I really like it. I mean, right off the bat, the first Karate Kid movie, masterpiece. Second one, brilliant sequel. I thought Karate Kid 2 was a brilliant sequel, where they go to Okinawa. Brilliant sequel. Now, the third movie, I don't agree with all the hatred it got. I mean, granted, it's not the best one in the franchise, but I can defend it in some types of way, And the next Karate Kid, mixed to negative thoughts, but I don't think it's like an abomination of a movie. And the remake with Jackie Chan, I just really couldn't give a shit. Right off the bat, the special features of this movie, we got a commentary, with Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio. There's like a commentary section on this. We've got Life of Bonsai feature, galleries, and the Way of the Karate Kid multi-parts. And so I said the special features are not something crazy to go on about, but there's some interesting features. I mean, right off the bat, I remember seeing this movie the first time when I was about 9, 10 years old. I straight away loved it because I used to go to karate myself at that age. So I was like doing research on, martial arts movies, like there's different types of martial arts movies out there, but one I came across was Karate Kid. My mother knew I was into karate. She knew I liked, anything to do with karate because I held a brown belt in it. And she told me to watch this movie, Karate Kid, and I fell in love with it. Basically what it's about is Ralph Macchio plays this kid by the name of Daniel LaRusso. He's moving from New Jersey to Reseda in California with his mother. They're moving out there because his mother's got a job with a new company there. Daniel LaRusso has moved there with her without choice. He doesn't want to go because he's happily settled where he's originally living. So he's a new kid in a new state, in a new school. And just like any other kid who moves away, they've got to make new friends and they've got to try and fit in. you know. And I know what it's like to be in that situation, you know. I think Daniel's one of those characters where you understand how he's feeling, you know, being in a strange place, got to make new friends. Because there was a time in my life when I moved abroad to Spain, you know, and I had to start a new school, meet new friends. And then when I moved back from Spain, I had to start another school, learning new friends and everything. And trust me, bullying always comes with it, you know. New starters usually get bullied, you know, because you don't know nothing about them and you judge them and things like that. And I was in the time to similar situation, so I know how the Daniel character felt. But you know, they go to this hotel where they're staying. You know, Daniel instantly makes his friend because he does a karate kick to the gate and knocks him down, and you know, straight away he does a connection with this new lad who welcomes him to the hotel. You know, and it introduces Pat Morita, who's the maintenance guy at the fucking hotel. You know, because the faucet was broken in the apartment, and he goes to see him. And so, back right off the bat, it gives you a brief introduction of the characters: Ralph Macchio, the mother, the friend of Daniel, and obviously Pat Morita's character, Mr. Miyagi. You know, we get the beach scene where he's playing football, and you get the impression that Daniel straight away is mixing well with all the kids. You know, he's making friends, and while he's on the beach, Elizabeth Shue's character there is Ali. We learn she's a rich girl coming from a rich family. Daniel LaRusso has a crush on her. She has a crush on him. And you get the impression that everything's going well for him. But during the beach party, the ex-boyfriend of Ali, Johnny, is part of a gang called the Cobra Kai, and they are called karate students, where they've all been taught karate the wrong way, and they're like very violent students. You know, Daniel gets into an altercation with Johnny, and he ends up being beat up on the beach. You know, when he's trying to stand up to Ali, you know, her boombox gets broken, a radio, whatever. You know, Johnny does vicious karate on Daniel, ends up giving him a black eye, and his friends then see him as a weak person. They judge him and they leave him, basically, and Daniel feels humiliated. But yeah, still receiving a black eye, Daniel LaRusso still agrees to go to school. You know, he's determined to go to school because he still has feelings for Ali, and he knows Ali goes to the same school. And again, there's another bullying scene where he's playing football. You know, the Cobra Kai students are there. You know, they trip him up. You know, they get into an altercation, a fight. So things for Daniel are going really bad off the bat. He's being bullied at school, basically. You know, this causes him to have low self-esteem. You know, feeling depressed. You know, as he's a victim of bullying, you know, he feels like an outsider. You know, he's missing all his friends back to where he came from and all that kind of stuff. So basically, he's trying to learn karate so he can defend himself. You know, we get the little scene where he's doing karate kicks, and Mr. Miyagi walks in to fix the sink, and he questions him about the black eye and notices that he's taken a liking to karate. You know, that sort of things. But from then on, you know, we get a few scenes with Mr. Miyagi, but usually it still focuses on Daniel getting bullied. You know, I suppose the scene that mattered most was the Halloween party. You know, there's a Halloween party coming up at the school. I thought the skeleton costumes were a great choice for the Cobra Kai to wear to make it a little more villainous. You know, and basically the bullies go really far. You know, they chase Daniel, you know, all the way back to the hotel, and they like really viciously beat him up. And granted, one of the members of the Cobra Kai tell Johnny he's going too far, leave him alone, he's had enough because Daniel can't stand because he's been abused that much, kicked and humiliated. And then we see the fight scene, you know, where Mr. Miyagi comes to Daniel's aid, you know what I mean? Stunt double, by the way, but does karate that he knows onto the Cobra Kais and lays them out, basically. And then we learn that Mr. Miyagi's character, when he takes care of Daniel, knows karate himself. You know, he loves fishing, and that his father taught him karate when he was younger. And he agrees to, you know, confront the Cobra Kai teacher with Daniel to you know, stand up for him, basically. They go to the Cobra Kai dojo. Martin Kove plays the John Kreese, you know, the karate instructor who's teaching all the students karate wrong, teaching them all to be violent and aggressive. Anyhow, they come to an agreement that that they arrange for like a tournament. You know, under the one condition that the Cobra Kai stop bullying Daniel. You know what I mean? Until You know, they set up the differences at a tournament basically. And straight on from the movie from here and there, it's just all about Mr. Miyagi teaching Daniel. You know what I mean? There's a scene that makes you scratch your head, you know, during the training process, like, how the hell has this got anything to do with karate? You know, what's the crack here? Because Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel to his home. There, he's painting fences, he's painting houses, he's doing wax on, wax off on cars, sanding the floor, but in different types of ways. You know, like wax on, wax off, paint the fence up, down. You know, painting the house side to side, side to side, and you think to yourself, what are all these scenes about? I remember when I first watched this, I was like, what's this got to do with karate training? Well, it goes into a brilliant scene where Mr. Miyagi shows Daniel what he's been learning. Basically, he's been teaching him all blocking maneuvers, you know, like where Mr. Miyagi's doing the strikes and Daniel's countering them with the blocking, with the wax on, wax off techniques, you know, and all the other techniques he's learned from doing all the work around the house. So it all paid off, and you think to yourself, wow, that's why he did it. You know, he was teaching him like blocking maneuvers, but like in an eccentric and interesting way, you know. So all those Mr. Miyagi's ways are eccentric, they worked, you know, so those teaching him like unique ways, you know. The film had a little bit of sadness. I mean, yes, the bullying scenes with Daniel LaRusso and the Cobra Kais and all that. You kind of feel for Mr. Miyagi's character because there's a scene where he's celebrating his anniversary, and when he passes out drunk, Daniel LaRusso finds out that Mr. Miyagi had a wife and son who passed away. So just that little scene alone, you know, gave you a little bit more of a background story on Mr. Miyagi's life. You know, we don't exactly learn why he came to America until the sequel, and that's when the plot like really gets interesting. I mean, there's scenes where Daniel and Ali are like trying to reconnect their relationship and things like that because the bullying on him still continues. But there's scenes where there's some happy scenes, you know, where him and Ali are having fun at the arcade, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So I'd say in this movie there's a scene of funny moments, like the funny moments where Mr. Miyagi shakes the boat and Daniel falls into the water. You know, so you get funny moments, you get your sad moments, you know, you get your happy moments because scenes where Daniel's with Ali in the arcade, those are happy moments. You get your interesting moments, you know, and the last half of the movie it really gets interesting because it's Daniel's birthday. Mr. Miyagi is more than just a tutor, he becomes a friend to Daniel. He expresses that, you know, where he buys him a cake, gives him a car for his birthday, you know, and also gave him like the karate outfit for him to wear when he's fighting the tournament and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, the unique scene at the end, even the tournament scene was interesting. You know, they play that great song, "You're the Best." You know, a great song. You know what I mean? So this movie had great choice of music. You know, one by one, Daniel LaRusso is getting through all the Cobra Kai students. You know, John Kreese tells one of his students to hurt Daniel by doing an illegal move, which causes Daniel to be sidelined from the tournament. But Mr. Miyagi, you know, heals him by clapping his hands together and like massaging the area to get his strength back. So despite the Cobra Kai trying to cheat their way to victory, Daniel comes back into the tournament, and basically in the final rounds, it's just him and Johnny. Ralph Macchio gets the fucking count by doing the crane kick that Mr. Miyagi trained him earlier on in the movie, and even that makes him earn Johnny's respect because Johnny gives him the trophy, and Daniel celebrates his his victory. So at the end of the day, Daniel LaRusso, he gets the girl, he defeats he stands up to the bullies and succeeds. He wins the tournament. He's made a friend. So it's one great big happy ending, basically. So overall, I think it's a masterpiece of a movie, childhood favourite. It's definitely an 80s classic. You know, I thought every actor did a great job with the roles. You know, Pat Morita played Mr. Miyagi, you know, spot on. I believe he did some comedy work before this movie, but he definitely made like a legendary character out of Mr. Miyagi because when you think Pat Morita, you know, he played Mr. Miyagi, you know what I mean? The karate teacher. Ralph Macchio did a great job at playing Daniel. He did a good job at the scenes where he was showing emotion, sadness, determination. So, and if you've been through the similar things that he's been through, being bullied, going into a different school, then you know how the character feels. And I think Ralph Macchio did a great job expressing his character's emotions. So with Elizabeth Shue, I believe it was her movie debut, this one, because Elizabeth Shue also starred in Hollow Man, and she's been in loads of other memorable roles. But she did a good job of playing Ali in this, Daniel's love interest. The actor who played Johnny, Martin Kove, who played the Cobra Kai instructor, John Kreese, he did a great job. He was in Rambo 2, and I thought every actor did a great job, Movies back then did seem like every character fitted into their roles, you know what I mean? And this movie was a good example of it. So I don't have any disagreements, or I don't have any things about this movie that I wish I cut out. I mean, the film is about 2 hours long. It feels like a long movie, but it seemed like every scene mattered. I don't agree with all these comments about people saying things like they didn't need this in the movie, they didn't need that in the movie, they didn't need that scene, But I was fine with it. I thought every scene was interesting and it was there for its own reasons. Learning about the character's background, learning more about the characters, about how they're feeling, all the different locations they went to, and all that stuff like that. So I thought every scene mattered, But like I said, what was good about this movie is that every scene had its own little moment, like being funny, being serious, making you feel sorry. I thought every little bit counted in this movie. It had a mixture of everything. I mean, I love the music. It's definitely got that 80s feel to it, and it was a childhood favourite, and, loved this movie, and I countlessly saw it numerous of times. The second one is even more just as brilliant. Excellent how the movie takes place after the first movie, and how the legacy continues and all that, and that's another review for another day. But again, it's an 80s classic, and if you like 80s classics that contains martial arts or anything like that, I really do recommend this one. Please check out The Karate Kid. Alright, it was a big part of my childhood, and with me doing karate myself, it got me even more intrigued because I was a brown belt back then. So, excellent movie. Excellent movie. So, please like, rate, and comment this, everybody, and email if you've got any questions. Please check out The Karate Kid. Highly recommended. That's it, everyone. Peace out.